Michigan replay. The Wolverines open their title defense with a win over Iowa. We'll see the highlights. And coming to a theater near you, Michigan's Chris Stapleton will explain. And we'll look ahead to them.
And welcome to Michigan replay. Big victory for the Wolverines on Saturday. They beat Iowa, opening the Big Ten season. And Iowa, Coach Moeller, was the last Big Ten team to defeat a Michigan team back in 1990, your first year as head coach.
We would like to keep that going, Jim, as well. But it was obviously a big win. Anytime you win one in the conference and you beat Iowa, regardless of what happens. And probably the best thing that happened today was the kicking game was really strong, and the kickoff return, our kickoff coverage team, plus our defense was good.
The other thing, Mo, it's not a game that's going to go in the archives as a classic. But again, a W is a W. And a team that was struggling defensively got some confidence the way they played Iowa on Saturday.
Right, and that's going to continue to happen for us, hopefully, Jim. We're so young in so many positions that we're going to continue to improve. And the key is you win while you're doing that and you don't let one slip away. So, but as we know, it's going to be tough, particularly these next 2 weeks.
The victory was important. The victory came in the Big Ten opener, and that is big. Don't go away. We'll be back. We'll take a look at the first half highlights of Michigan-Iowa when Michigan replay continues.
The excitement, the
ball, you know, they want the ball. They showed us no respect in taking the ball, so we went out there and shut them down.
Buster Stanley, who had an awful good game, and defensively, which was the big concern for the Wolverines after the Houston game, is where you really got things done against Iowa.
We found out we could tackle, Jim, and I think our players were in a lot better position, and I know we all questioned that at one time, but it's getting back to the fundamentals, and it starts right here with Dudler throwing Terry, their fine running back, for a 3-yard loss here.
A lot of fundamentals were done a lot better on Saturday than in the past, so a lot of work on fundamentals like tackling, huh?
Right, and we had been working on those before. You know, you didn't need to be an Einstein in coaching to know that that was a problem and it needed some attention. Then Collins goes to work. He hits Burkholder over the middle. Then he comes back here after a major holding penalty of 18-yard setback, really. We hit Derek Alexander on a fine throw and catch, and that was a big one for us. Then Tyrone goes over the right side on a counter play to put us ahead 7-0.
That's your first possession offensively. You're really clicking on all 8 cylinders at this point.
Exactly, and you know, we didn't do offensively like we should have played, to be quite honest with you.
Here's that kick coverage team you were talking about.
Right, I was talking about our kicking team, and I thought particularly the coverage people, and Walter Smith and those guys really went down there very aggressively and got us the ball. Now we got to take advantage of it.
You got the ball on a great opportunity, and then this is what made you mad about the game.
Right,
you lost opportunity.
Right, we went to 3rd and 6 here in a very dangerous play. Todd had to throw it away. It wasn't a dangerous play, but Todd had to throw the ball away. Threw it backwards, so it actually became a lateral, and we lost another 18 yards. And here's the only big play. Jasper was hit by Burmeister there on the long bomb, and it's the only big play that our defense really give up all day.
And that's the other thing you wanted to see happen. And even though they get down there, you get a great block of the field goal attempt by Jason Horn, so you don't give up any points, so that's good.
Good, very good, and we had good effort there. Horn breaking through, and then Dudler picking it up and giving us the ball just over the 50-yard line. Then we go back to work on the first play. Collins hits Wheatley, and Tyrone takes off. And here again is an example of speed and a very well-executed play.
Well, you get him in the open field, whether by the pass or the run, and good things can happen. And I know you want to try to get him the ball more often like that.
Right, you got to get him beyond the line of scrimmage and let him work on the secondary backs. They come right back to work here, and we hit Shaw. We blitzed them there, and they hit Shaw for about 20 yards and got beat on man-to-man coverage. Then Burmeister comes right back and hits Irons here, or excuse me, Jasper here for 11-yard gain, and Jared Irons makes the tackle.
This is kind of a bend but don't break situation where the first time you bent.
Right.
And you broke.
Right, they go down. We didn't keep him contained right there. But, you know, I don't like short passes, and everybody becomes very frustrated. But the key for a defense is to keep them out of the end zone. And, Jim, it is very hard to drive a ball 80 yards down the field, so you got to give them field position.
And look at the results against Iowa. You know, they only did it once. And Derek Alexander makes a big catch. And this, again, I know is upsetting to you. Offense moves the ball when you get into the strike zone. You can't convert.
Right, we had a blocking adjustment that was missed there. We didn't pick up Blue, who was their big star defensively, and he sacked Collins for a 7-yard loss. Then we missed a field goal. We did not kick the ball in placements very well at all.
Great play defensively here. Buster Stanley causes the fumble just before half and then gets the fumble. And again, you can't get 6, but you do get 3.
Right, we get 3 on a line drive shot here, and that's what's going to force them or tell them to come back and try to block one the next time we get it. But that was important to go in before halftime with those 3 points. And as you indicated, Buster Stanley, I can say, Jim, is one guy on that defensive group that I can say has played well in 4 games.
17-7 at halftime. Are you feeling good about it at this point, or are you saying, man, offensively, we should have had like 24, maybe 28 instead?
Right, we didn't do our job offensively. Now, if I know we're going to consistently continue to play good defense, then you're not as concerned. But, you know, you can't help but think back, well, a week ago what happened, and all of a sudden they're right back in the game. So your strategy, you keep planning now, and the next time do I get down there, do I go for a field goal, or am I better going for the touchdown? So you try to keep the biggest spread as you can.
All right, we'll be back. We'll take a look at the second half highlights where Michigan puts it away when Michigan Replay continues.
They had a lot of confidence in me, and you know, I need to get some confidence back in myself to feel like, you know, I can play this season, because I really haven't played this season. And you know, you look forward to doing better than you did the year before, because you always want to get better.
Derek Alexander, of course, coming back against Iowa. I'd seen only 1 play in the opener. It was good to have him back. We saw in the first half he made some big plays.
No question, and Jimmy makes a very good statement there. You get rusty sitting on that bench, and I thought he performed real well under the circumstances. So we're glad to have him back. He has the great speed.
We go to the second half, and the defense continues to play well. Big play here by Steve Rakowski.
Yeah, we got stopped on our first possession, and Rakowski comes up with a big sack, and he's been a very hard-working kid for us. Now we get a little pressure, and Shante drops back and intercepts the ball. We get him in a turnover.
That's the turnover you wanted to see. You turn field position around, and you get Ricky Powers in the game. He does some real good quality running for you.
Ricky did a very good job today. Here he comes in, he breaks off tackle for about 6 yards or so. But later in the game, he had a number of very good carries for us, which helped.
Then you get Wheatley back in there, and inside the tackle or outside the tackle, he's tough to bring down, and you're knocking on the door, and here you get a big play around the end.
Right. Wheatley bounces this and out, kind of on his own there a little bit, but he has the speed to do that, and as long as he gets in the end zone, you don't complain. He gets thrown for a loss, it becomes a different problem.
3 touchdowns, that puts him in the career list at number 3 all-time behind Anthony Carter and Desmond Howard. So Wheatley making a big name for himself. Iowa, meantime, starts moving the football through the air.
Yeah, they moved the ball down here a little bit, and they hit a 16-yarder, come back with their tight end down the middle for 22 yards. Again, those are big chunks you don't want to give up. You want to give it up underneath.
But pressure was key.
Yeah, Jared Irons here, youngsters come in at linebacker for us, does a good job. And I thought we did that very well. One of the best we've had all year long, or excuse me, for the entire season, really. And it helps, and it shows. Then they had to throw the ball away.
And they missed the field goal opportunity there, and then you come back, and here's that man, Derek Alexander, doing some things that you haven't been able to do a lot of because they got to respect his speed.
Right, they'll back off of him a little bit, and should have probably got him deep one time and seen if we couldn't have thrown it up there. Now, here's our big mistake. We try for a field goal, then get it blocked. And those, you really hold your breath there, because how often have you seen those scooped up and returned for touchdown?
But again, the key to this whole game was pressure. Burmeister throws, but he's drilled, and that had to be your game plan going in.
No question about it. And of course, Jason Horn puts on good pressure there. And then here Shante comes on a 3rd and 6 and sacks the quarterback. And these are the things you like to see, and it really gives your team a lot of confidence.
Michigan wins it 24-7, and it was a special football game. And our Norwegian Play of the Week by a guy that you talked about being really solid defensively, and that's Buster Stanley.
Right. He's displayed great leadership, not only on the field, as I told you. He's one of those defensive guys that has played well, He's demonstrated it off the field as well. And here he causes the fumble and makes the recovery all in the same play. And we're very happy with his play at this time.
That's our Norwegian Cruise Line play of the week, and of course that gets you a field goal right before half, gives you more than a touchdown lead. You win the game 24-7. Again, not a classic, but I don't think you can emphasize enough how important an opening win to a team that, let's face it, a lot of people felt has been struggling. To get a win over a good quality opponent like Iowa is, I think, important, especially heading into the stretch you're heading into.
Yes, and when you win like that, Jim, you feel like you can dominate people when you win with defense. It just gives your team a tougher personality. It gives everybody a lot of confidence. On the sideline today, how the offensive guys were cheering the defensive guys on, that really means something.
How much during the week did you try to instill in the kids, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, we've got to be dominant? Did you try to work on that?
Oh, yeah, and just keep them inside and try to pound the ball, and hopefully it'd come out once in a while. And I think that, and then but offensively, we cannot self-destruct. If there's one major flaw we had, it was the fact that we had way too many penalties. And then you're killing yourself. You can't really perform well without those penalties. Like we get a draw play, we get holding on a draw play that we end up on the 5-yard line. We're ready to go in 1st and 5 and score again, and we failed there. So that has to stop, and we got to address this penalty issue again.
That's something that I'm sure you'll address. If you people out there that are interested in Michigan football want to address more of the interesting facts.
You have to capitalize on some of the situations the defense gave us. They played a great game and, forced turnovers, got interceptions and sacks, and we get into that, strike zone, 25-yard line in. We had some difficulty in there, so I was a little disappointed in our performance in that zone.
His improvement as a kicker, and you say he may be more improved than anybody else on the team at their position.
Right, and I think